Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself Janvi. I am a biology teacher for students in pre-university and university level. I have created a YouTube channel called Janvi's Edu channel for teaching various topics in biology to benefit the students at various levels on different topics. Keep looking for more videos in this space and subscribe to my channel if you find these videos are useful. Hello friends, today we are discussing about one of the important topic of biology called as cell biology. In this unit we are going to cover about the definition of a cell, types of cell and details of prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell with an example. What is a cell? A cell is a basic structural and functional unit of an organism. All organisms are made up of a cell. Either it may be unicellular or multicellular. Now let's talk about bacteria as an example of a prokaryotic cell. The bacteria are present everywhere. They are present in water, the soil and the air we breathe. They are of different shape. They may be cocci or some may be rod-shaped bacteria called as bacillus. When we talk about the nutrition, they're autotrophic and some are heterotrophic. Autotrophic organisms are the one which can prepare their own food, whereas heterotrophs depend upon other organisms for their food. And when we talk about heterotrophs, there are of two types. One are saprophytes, which depend upon other organisms for their food. That means they depend upon the dead and decayed organic matter for their food, whereas parasites are the one which need host for their survival, and they also get the essential requirements from the host. Now let's talk about the bacterial cell membrane. When we talk about the bacterial cell membrane, the cell membrane is made up of the phospholipid bilayer. That is, there are the lipids present in them, and they also have a protein. There are two types of protein, peripheral protein and integral protein. And when you talk about the plasma membrane, the main use of plasma membrane, it helps the transport of materials in and out of the cell. Hence, we will call it as a selectively permeable membrane. Here I am trying to explain you about the structure of the cell membrane through a diagrammatic representation in which you can see the cell membrane and the nucleus here. Whereas when you take the section of the cell membrane under the electron microscope, it somewhat looks like this. You can see the surface with a polar heads facing towards the outside, and you have a tails of fatty acids towards the inside, and there are certain proteins that are embedded at the surface of the membrane. We are call it as a peripheral protein, whereas certain proteins which are embedded at the center or inside the membrane, we'll call it as an integral protein. And this somewhat looks like an mosaic which is arranged on the floor, hence we call it with the name fluid mosaic model. Plasma membrane is covered with a strong and rigid cell wall. The cell wall renders mechanical protection and provides shape to the cell. The cell wall of bacterial cell is totally different from that of plant cell with their composition. Based on the cell wall composition, there are two types of bacteria, gram-negative and gram-positive. Gram-negative bacteria are made up of proteoglycan called as muramic acid, whereas gram-positive bacteria are made up of muramic acid plus polysaccharide plus polymer in them. Here is a diagrammatic representation of the capsule where you can see the outside of the cell wall or the outer covering of the cell wall is made up of capsule. The main function of the capsule is protect the bacteria from any viruses or phagocytes, and they also help to maintain the concentration of the ions and water in the cell. In the nucleoid region, the genetic material may be in the form of single-stranded or double-stranded DNA. It is not separated from the cytoplasm. It is concentrated in a particular region called as nucleoid. histone proteins are absent. There are three different types of RNA: messenger RNA, transport RNA, and ribosomal RNA. Plasmids are the small, circular, and extrachromosomal DNA which are present in the bacteria. They are nothing but a viral DNA which can be easily incorporated into bacterial DNA. Once the bacterial DNA starts reproducing itself, it also produces some copies of the viral DNA in them. That is nothing but the plasmid DNA in them. These plasmid DNA helps to produce a particular protein which will inhibit the growth of the other bacteria in the vicinity of the bacterial cell. Some bacteria are having a non-flagellar appendages called pili. They are non-motile and adhesive. The main function of the pili is they help the bacteria to easily attach to the surface of the host in which they live, and in some bacteria they also help in reproduction. Most of the bacteria are made up of flagella. The flagella are the locomotory in function. It is attached to the base with the help of the hook. Depending upon the number of flagella, they are being divided into four types. One is monotrichous, second one is amphitrichous, third one is lymphotrichous, and fourth one peritrichous. Now we talk about a eukaryotic cell. The eukaryotic cells consisting of mainly four components, namely the cell wall, the plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. The eukaryotic cell may be a plant cell or the animal cell. In animal cell, the cell wall is absent, whereas in plant cell, the cell wall is present. Now we talk about the cell wall. The cell wall is the outermost structure which is present in the plant cell. They are dead and the rigid layer. The cell wall is made up of cellulose, pectin, hemicellulose, and lignin. There are two types of cell wall: the primary cell wall and the secondary cell wall. When we take an ultrastructure of the cell wall is made up of the microfibrillar network which consists of cellulose in them. Between the cellulose, there are certain pectin-rich substances called as middle lamella. The primary cell wall is the one which is made just immediately after the cell division, and it contains hemicellulose, pectin, and network of microfibrils. Whereas secondary cell wall is made up of cellulose and lignin and hemicellulose. And one interesting thing which we have to know in the cell wall is there are certain tunnels which are running through the cell wall. These are called as plasmodesmata, which allow the communication with the other cells in a tissue. In plant cell, the plasma membrane occurs just inner to the cell wall. The plasma membrane exhibits a trilaminar structure. The trilaminar structure is nothing but the layer is sandwiched between the two dark layers. That means a light layer is sandwiched between the two dark layers, hence we call it as a trilaminar structure. And as I told you in the prokaryotic cell, the plasma membrane also exhibit a fluid mosaic model in the eukaryotic cell also. And it is also called as selectively permeable membrane. Why we will call it as a selectively permeable membrane? It allows only certain molecules like water or carbon dioxide to move in and out of the cell. Hence we will call it as a selectively permeable membrane. The movement of these molecules like carbon dioxide or water is by the process of osmosis or through the process of diffusion. And next thing is that there are certain proteins which are present. They are called as transport proteins. These transport proteins may also help to actively transport certain molecules in and out of the cell with the help of the energy. The energy will be in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Golgi apparatus are the cup-shaped organelles which are present near the nucleus. They are having a set of smooth cisterine and also vesicles in them, which helps in transport of proteins in and out of the cell. There are three types of cysteine. One is cis, another one is median, third one is trans. And the proteins are transmitted from the rough endoplasmic reticulum to the cis, and then to the median, and then to the trans, and then towards the secretory vesicles. The main functions of the Golgi apparatus are the help in packaging of secretory materials and synthesis of polysaccharides and glycolipids, targeting of the proteins to their location, and also helps to transport the proteins in and out of the cell. Mitochondria is called as a powerhouse of the cell. Why it is called as powerhouse of the cell? It is somewhat interesting to know why it is called as powerhouse of the cell, because all the metabolic activities which are taking place inside the cell are all mainly because of the mitochondria. Let's see first the structure of the mitochondria. When we talk about the structure of the mitochondria, there are two membranes just present in the mitochondria. One is the outer membrane and another one is the inner membrane. Inner membrane is further folded into a finger-like projections, which we will call it as a cristae. This cristae contains certain ATPs enzyme in them, which help to metabolize the acetyl-CoA to produce carbon dioxide, water, and hydrogen ions in them. This is the only organelle which contain DNA in them, and hence the DNA which is present in the mitochondria are called as a mitochondrial DNA. And this is the only organelle which contain the DNA. That means here the transcription process can also takes place. That means with the help of the DNA it can even produce an RNA. From the RNA it can also produce a protein with the help of the process called translation. And if the DNA is produced and the transcription processes takes place, that means there should be a furthermore things which are present in the mitochondria. They are nothing but the ribosomes. The ribosomes are also very important to synthesize the protein. So most of the things are taking place in the mitochondria, and they are having its own DNA called as mitochondrial DNA, and most of the metabolic activities are included in the mitochondria. Hence they are also called as semi-autonomous organelle, which is independent of its cell activity. Ribosomes are the tiny spheroid dense particles which are present free in the cytoplasm, or they may be associated with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. They are having certain sedimentation coefficient in them, like for example 80S can be divided into 60S and 40S. Now we are going to talk about the endoplasmic reticulum. Mainly there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum and another one is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum do not contain any ribosomes on it, whereas rough endoplasmic reticulum contains ribosomes on it. So they are called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. And these rough endoplasmic reticulum are mainly involved with the protein synthesis. And total the main functions of endoplasmic reticulum are they help in detoxification process, they help in lipid metabolism, they also helps in synthesis of the membrane proteins. Lysosomes are tiny, spheroid, irregular shaped membrane bound vesicles. They contain certain hydrolytic enzymes in them for digestion. Through a diagrammatic representation, let's see how the endocytosis takes place. The bacteria or any foreign substance comes close to the lysosome. Once it comes close to the lysosome, it is taken inside of the cell through the cell membrane. Once it is taken inside, the process is called as endocytosis. Later, the foreign substance get broken down into few substances which can be thrown out of the cell. Next thing is lysosomes has a specific nature called as polymorphism. What is polymorphism? They exhibit more than one shape. That means lysosomes are present in different shapes. And the proteins which are present in the lysosomes are all ATP dependent proteins. That means all the process which will take place, either it may be endocytosis or exocytosis or phagocytosis, whatever it may be, all this process will take place with the help of the ATP dependent protein pumps. Nucleus is called as a heart of the every cell. It contains genes in them which are located on the chromosomes. These genes are transcribed to produce RNA, and RNA are translated to produce a protein. But when we take the structure of the nucleus, you have to remember these many things in the nucleus. See, this is what is nuclear outer membrane, which is called as an outer membrane, whereas inner to this you can see another one membrane which is called as a nuclear membrane, inner membrane or the nuclear membrane. Totally the nucleus is made up of two membranes. One is outer membrane and another one is inner membrane. The outer membrane is always associated with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And once if I say it is associated with the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it also helps in the synthesis of the proteins. Whereas there are certain nuclear pore which you can see. These nuclear pores will help in passing of certain materials in and out of the nucleus. And also you can see the nucleolus. Nucleolus is the region where ribosomes are produced. So this concludes the topic on cell biology. So let's recap what we studied in this video. First, we explained about what is a cell and different types of cell. Secondly, considering bacteria as an example of an prokaryotic cell, we explained the different parts of a cell like cell wall, cell membrane and nucleus, and also certain parts like plasmids, villi and flagella. Finally, considering animal cell as an example of eukaryotic cell, we studied different parts like cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus, and cellular organelles like mitochondria, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, and lysosomes. This concludes the topic on cell biology. I will be coming up with more relevant topics in upcoming weeks. If you find this video useful, please do like and subscribe my channel. If you have any suggestion, please do share it in comment section. Thank you.